Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions from the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, social media, sports, everything really, depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis, and on social media, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guest from a few things, but she stars in What We Do in the Shadows. We're with Veronika Slowikowska. Veronika,
Hello.
welcome to Popternative.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I was going to do it where I hold a towel until you announce my name and I drop it or something. Anyway.
Yeah, like a backdrop.
Yeah. It was gonna be a whole thing. But thank you for having me. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. How's the quarantine been for you so far?
Whew. You know what? It actually hasn't been that bad. I think I just realized that we've been in this for as long as like a high school summer. And I think that's when I was like, holy Gucci. Holy
Yeah.
I was like, can I swear? I don't know. But that was kind of the moment that I was like, wow, I've really been not doing that much, but also like doing everything in the world. So yeah, it's been, you know what, it's been good. I'm at my parents' house and we're getting to know each other.
Yep.
As a young adult. I'm new. Yes, I'm no longer a teenager. So it's been nice.
For sure. Whether, you act, whether you write, whether you produce, whether you sing, they're all storytellers. That's what I kind of call those people. When did Veronika decide she wanted to be a storyteller?
Storyteller, yeah. Wow, I think I took my first like drama class very like I was like in grade 1. I was an extremely shy, very, very shy kid. I was an only child until the age of 6, so I was just constantly like entertaining myself. I didn't like, I had a few friends here and there, but I was like painfully shy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from the get-go there are videos of me at like 3 years old dancing to Spice Girls. Yeah, it was my parents are Polish, so I didn't learn English until I went to preschool. So I think that was kind of it too, where I was kind of like, how do I make friends? I don't speak this language. And then, yeah, I kind of humor and all that kind of stuff has always been in my life. And going to high school, and even in elementary school, I did community theater and
Yep.
And improv. So it's classic answer, but since day one.
Theater is kind of where everyone kind of learns their craft. You know what I mean? That's like where it all starts, like the theater.
Yeah, well, that's the only thing that was around when I'm from Barrie, which is a smaller town, and that was the only thing that was around. Like dance classes, singing lessons, and theater. There was no film industry. Like I loved films. I grew up with Disney and all that kind of, animation when I was younger, but then I've always kind of been a film lover. So, and then I found my little like niche group in high school, and we'd watch like whatever, like Wes Anderson films and classic
Of course.
yeah, quirky groups. So
How long have you officially been acting for?
yeah, so I transitioned from theater. I went to theater school like in college, and that's when I fell in love with film acting. I've loved film my whole life, but just I didn't know that I was like good at on-screen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess I've been in the film industry for 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, so it's been like a bit, but it's been also like not that long.
That's not that long, and you've done some really, really cool projects, including What We Do in the Shadows, which is very interesting because I'm a big fan of like the blending of a lot of genres, you know what I mean? And that kind of has everything. That has like that, it's funny, it's scary, it's like intense. Like I love those type of projects and shows.
Yeah, it's I was a massive fan of the movie.
The movie was awesome.
It's like the best movie. So when I found out it was filming in Toronto, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I got the audition for it. And I was like, honestly, so content and so happy to have even gotten in the room for that sort of project. And then I completely forgot about it because I was like, there is no way. And then to get it, and it was seriously like this dream come true, because yeah, it's like mockumentary, so many like pop culture references, and
So many.
so like the last episode that was on Wednesday, like the amount of Star Wars references were just crazy. But anyways, yeah, so it's truly true. Like, I'm not even joking. Out of all the auditions I've ever had in my life, which has been quite a bit, this was the dream. This was the one that I wanted to get. And yeah, I definitely appreciate it.
You were in an episode of Degrassi: The Next Generation.
Yes, yeah.
And the reason I bring up Degrassi is because that genre that they kind of refer to as like the teen drama, I feel like is never going away. And you see like Netflix right now with a show called Outer Banks, which is being like labeled as this like teen drama compared to shows like The OC and One Tree Hill. It's crazy. And Degrassi, I feel like, was one of those shows, like, we're Canadian, we're from Canada, and it got kind of distribution in the States, like Teen Nick and everything, and people didn't realize it was Canadian.
I know. I grew up in that, I don't even know what season that was, but they were truly superstars. I would see them on like Much Music or whatever it was. Like, they were these Canadian superstars, and now kind of it's all kind of come full circle, where like I go to parties with a few of them or see them at audition rooms, most of them. And so it's just, there was a real peak for them at some point, and still I think now it's done, but all very, very down to earth, cool kids. Like, is Canadian fame a thing? I don't know, but kids, young adults. But yeah, it's crazy that this like Canadian show just took off. And yeah, that Outer Banks show, my sister watches it. I haven't seen it yet, but she really enjoyed it.
I'm interviewing quite a few of the cast members, and it's just, they're exploding right now. And it hasn't even been, it's funny because it hasn't even been like a month since the show's been out. And but it's crazy.
Have they been acting for a while? I don't know. Like,
some of them have done projects here and there. It's funny because the two leads on the show, Maddie Klein and Chase Stokes, when you go look back, when they kind of first started and their days of kind of starting and getting, jobs here and there, they were both like in an episode of Stranger Things.
No
like,
way.
For like five, like small little, like a small role, right?
Yeah.
So people are kind of going back and seeing that and be like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So it's funny how like all the shows are kind of like working together, right?
Oh, yeah. And that's like, I think that's the biggest thing I've kind of been learning or whatever, is that it's so small. Like, this industry is tiny to have, like, even, I'm from Toronto and have that kind of like whatever LA, New York connection now, but everyone knows everybody. So yeah, or has worked with everyone.
So that's good that you mentioned that. So like, I'm from Montreal originally. I live in Ottawa right now. You are from Barrie. You're in Barrie right now, but you live in Toronto, right? Like, you live in Toronto, yeah. Quarantine situation.
It's like an hour away, so yeah. I'm like, I say Toronto, but
so my question is, we grew up with a lot of Canadian content, a lot of TV shows, a lot of kids shows on YTV and Teletoon and everything, and CBC. And let's be honest, when we were younger, there was a stigma attached to Canadian TV and movies where it wasn't as good as American content.
And sometimes that was true.
You know what I mean? So, but look at how we broke that barrier now in comedy, specifically with Schitt's Creek, Letterkenny, Kim's Convenience, Workin' Moms, all these shows that are getting like international distribution. It's really cool to see. Is it safe to say that stigma is gone?
So, okay, so wow, I just got a text. I don't know if you heard that. Stop!
Because I find that really interesting, though. I find that an interesting thing.
So I just did an episode of Baroness von Sketch, which is, I'm in the newest season coming up, and the fact that like Reggie Watts was on there, he's like one of my favorite comedians. You know what? I think we started taking risks. I think we've always had it in us to create kind of like groundbreaking shows. Like Baroness von Sketch 4 middle-aged women in as leads and running, producing, writing their own show is like unheard of.
For
And the fact that we did that and we took that risk is phenomenal. So yeah, I think that's gone. And even Tall Boys, which is the new CBC show, also sketch comedy, those are all my friends. Like the fact that I perform with them every week, they do such weird, political smart, but like weird comedy that makes me so excited. And it's on CBC now. CBC took that chance is phenomenal. So
but it's funny because you mentioned that. I feel like I have to mention it too. Like your friends that are in those shows. I mean, like I went to in Montreal. I did like the cinema communications classes at Dawson College in CEGEP.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of my classmates, shout out to Jesse Camacho, and Alex Harouche and Erica Deutschman, and like they basically, I was in class with them, and like you look at like 10 years later, like they were all working on like really cool projects. It's cool to see. Jesse's on Lock and Key on Netflix. Erica Deutschman is in a lot of Hallmark Christmas films, but she was also in like Shadowhunters. Wow, Alex Harouche was in a few episodes of Degrassi. He played Leo, and he was in Letterkenny recently. It's cool to see that. Like I love too that Canadian actors are getting opportunities on bigger shows as well. Like I love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, our dollar's down, so come film here. Like we want to work.
Like Lock and Key is on Netflix, but like that's shot in Toronto. So there's a lot of Canadian people that work on that show.
Yeah, exactly. So the producers and the main kind of the head honchos are American, or most of them, but then they come here and we all get work from that. So absolutely, I think come to Canada. I know that it's cheaper, so that's why they come, but also because we work hard and I think we're just as good. I think we are proving ourselves in the entertainment industry that we're not, people that say house weird.
No, exactly. Or about.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think as especially with the internet and stuff now that things can really blow up. And it doesn't have to be like a big budget thing. It's just like word of mouth and all that kind of stuff.
No, for sure. Whether, you worked on a project for the first time or, you said you've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years now. Mm-hmm. Even though there's always going to be learning experiences on any project you work on, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like you go in, what were some learning experiences for you specifically on what we do in the shadows, Veronika?
Yeah, a lot. So I am very involved in the improv community here in Toronto. I love improv, and I kind of took it as I've always kind of like had a funny bone and took some classes, got into like the Second City Conservatory, did all that, started playing with my troupe, and it kind of made me a better actor. And then the second this came around, at the audition, they were like, okay, let's do a talking head, completely improvised. And I was like, yes, like absolutely I can do that. But the biggest thing I think I've kind of learned and gotten from is that everybody's super sweet no matter how much you idolize them. At least the heroes that I've met have like lived up to the potential. And it's kind of given me that confidence that I'm also a writer and creator, that you know what, it's all possible. And
for sure.
It's all possible, and it's good, cool people that are like I talk to them, I'm like, yeah, this is like it just feels like we're part of the same team, and that they were in my shoes at one point or whatever. And so I think the biggest thing I learned was make your own stuff, because you can have some great fun with it. And also improv is awesome.
Here's the thing. It's a challenge then. Are you known to do like I want to do, like, how does it work? Like, I want to do some improv with you right now.
Oh wow. Okay.
So how does it work? If we're just gonna are you gonna just say like a scene, like we're having a conversation, right? Like we're having like a FaceTime conversation, let's say.
Yeah.
And then what's the next step? Like you have to say like how does it work basically?
Yeah. So there are a lot of basically there are a lot of rules in improv, but you can break all of them kind of like the more you go along, or every rule can be broken.
All right.
So yeah, it's always kind of like, you establish the who, what, where.
Okay,
or
so
what?
let's establish that for us. Who, what, where, and let's improv for a little bit.
Okay,
I'm
all
excited
right.
about this.
Okay. Hey, Nick. Thanks for making time to call me. Are
No
you sorry?
problem.
Yeah, no, I
You're
just I
cutting
just
out. You're cutting out a little bit.
oh,
Sorry.
sorry. Okay, I'll make it quick. I've had a really great time with.
Okay.
I've had a really great time, going on dates, like all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But we're stuck inside now. So I was just thinking that maybe like we take like a break or something. I don't know.
I thought we were already on a break, Rebecca.
Oh shit. Okay.
What is?
Oh no. You know what? It's
Is
fine.
this why your mom tried to call me last week?
Well, yeah.
Because we know how your mom is with our relationship.
Well, yeah, she loves our relationship, but that's why I called because she told me that you were wanting to break up with me, so I wanted to do it first. That was like the whole thing.
But I thought we already established that it goes without saying that we're not going to be able to see each other, social distancing.
Okay, fine. Absolutely. Then great. Okay, great. I don't even care now that you've broken up with me. It's almost like I've fallen in love with you again. Is that weird?
It's not weird, but like it's a tough time right now. We can't go outside. You know what I mean? I watched Game of Thrones like 3 times already. I'm just being frustrated. I don't need this right now.
Okay, I just miss you. Okay.
Okay, but not right now. I'm sorry to
And
be this
so-
person. And see,
It's kind of like
that was pretty good.
That was pretty good. So it's all about like yes and is the first kind of rule in improv. So yes, you're my girlfriend and we're whatever having this breakup. So or you add kind of so it's like building. But
Did I break rules of improv or was I good?
You know what? I think you were very good. I think that you've got a true future.
I didn't see where that. I'm like, you know what? That's the thing too. They really say that you can't like break character. Like, isn't there? I saw a movie. Did you ever see like Just Go With It with Adam Sandler? Did you ever see that movie?
Oh my gosh, I think I don't remember, but I know of it. Yeah.
So the scene is Jennifer Aniston's daughter is like acting and she's doing improv classes, right? And she says if someone said like you're not allowed to say no. So if someone says no, you have to yell die.
It's true. I mean, some people are like that, but that's kind of the ultimate rule is yes and. Or even there's a movie called, if you want to know about the improv world, Don't Think Twice.
Amazing movie.
Such
a good movie.
If you want to know about the improv world, I think that movie kind of, and the comedy community and like how one of the characters gets on SNL and like the jealousy and. I love comedians, but we are such sensitive, weird people.
But I feel like that happens with like obviously that's about the SNL route, right? But like what you're talking about, the jealousy, the envy, that happens like all the time in anything.
That's true, but it shows the magic of improv and how there's that one scene where what's her Jillian Jacobs? Is that her name? Gillian
from Community.
Yes, she's a queen, and she's kind of like digging her way out of a hole, and it is kind of. Because it's so subconscious that you are kind of dealing with your problems in a very weird way. And it's all just unfiltered and beautiful.
It's crazy. Well, Veronika, thank you so much for coming on Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been really great to have something to look forward to.
Absolutely. Where can people follow you on social media?
Yeah, Veronika with a K _ is cool. I know it's lame.
That's a nice handle.
But yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. And could we look out for any projects coming? I mean, they can like What We Do in the Shadows. Like people can go watch that, right?
Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows. I'm going to be on an episode of Baroness Von Sketch in the next season, and an episode of Nurses on Global in the next.
Shout out to Tristan. Shout out to Tristan Dilala.
Yeah. Is he from Montreal?
He is. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I've met him. I know him. Yes.
He plays Damien, I believe, on Nurses. He's like,
He's friends with my friend Steph. He's also from Montreal.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. He's a very sweet guy. So that's coming out, and then I've applied to a couple funds through CBC and all other kind of stuff to see if I can work on some of my own projects soon. But if not, they'll be out. I'll be on performing improv and sketch comedy in Toronto when this is all over.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been very fun.
Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. And until next time, this is Veronika Slowikowska, NPD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.